Good morning, good afternoon, children. How are you all?
Fine, ma'am.
After a very long time, Punita, you're joining? After a couple of days?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Ma'am,
Good afternoon, Dare. Good afternoon, Prakhar. Good afternoon,
ma'am.
Good
afternoon, ma'am.
Very, very good afternoon, everyone. How are you all?
Spectacular.
You are
Ma'am, better than before.
Nice. Nice.
Prakhar said something.
civics.
Ma'am,
No,
better than
history.
before.
Oh,
Is it
how come better than before?
History.
How come that?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
Ma'am, I
afternoon.
don't know.
Right, children.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Ria. So yes, children, please tell me, we read about the major tribes yesterday. Is it all clear to you? Have you understood that properly?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts in that?
Yes,
No, ma'am.
Give a thumbs up, I got it. Fine, children, if you do not have any doubts, then please be ready with page number 52. We are going to begin with the livelihoods of these tribal people.
Ma'am, I'm just bringing my book.
Hurry up.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Arshia. All good?
Yes, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, beta.
Ma'am, today can I off my camera?
For what, beta?
Ma'am, because some network issue.
Okay, Punita, you can.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yes, children. So we have to begin from tribal livelihood, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Previous all topics are clear, children? Sure, no doubts in them?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
Good then. Okay. Children, if there is anyone in the waiting room, no? And in case I'm not able to see, please just tell me to admit them. Although I'm doing that. In case if anyone is left out, so you can please help me out with this. Okay? Right, children? So for now, we have 17 children in your class. It will be 18. Right. I'll just jot this down. Okay. Done? Yes. Shall we begin, children? Sure, no doubts, nothing like that. We can begin with it?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
sir.
Okay. So, children, before we start, can you please tell me the meaning of the term livelihood? What do we mean by this term? Who will tell me the meaning of the term livelihood? Wow. So many responses. How will I take them? Just
And we have to send in chat.
No, you have to tell me. The meaning of the term livelihood.
Earning money.
Ma'am,
Earning money
life-
and running a household.
Yeah, the way they earn money to run the house. Yes, Pranavi?
Ma'am, managing to live.
Things in a life to obtain them and like
The way of
Food
life
and-
they live, the way
Managing to live.
the way they live, the things they do to live, right? The work they're involved in, everything comes under their livelihood. And here in this particular topic, as we know that our topic or our chapter is mainly concerned with whom, children?
Tribe.
right.
That's
Tribe.
we are going to read about the tribal livelihood here. We're going to read about we are going to read about the livelihood of the tribal people. Okay, children, right? So many tribes obtain their livelihood from what, children? As you can see it here,
Agriculture.
right? Many tribes did it with the help of agriculture. Many tribes were involved in agriculture and they obtained their livelihood from agriculture. But all of them were not There were others who were also involved in hunting and
Herders.
gathering.
Herders.
Herding. Herding.
Were there
Hunter
no
gatherers.
craftsmen in the tribes?
There were no craftsmen in the tribes as such, because the tribes mostly had hunters, gatherers, or herders. Later on, with time, right, when they started merging with the settled communities, they started seeing stuff. Then they started to learn few things in doing them. But originally, if we talk about initially, then the tribes mostly contained hunters, gatherers, or herders, right? Even agriculture also they started when the agriculture expanded, when the settled communities went to the forest to do agriculture. That's when these people started doing agriculture. Okay, Hassan?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, right. So, but it was also not like this that okay, if I'm doing agriculture, I'll just do that only. And if I'm a hunter or gatherer, I'll just keep it to that only. No. Many a times, most of them often combine these activities. Children, can you please tell me which activities did they combine? Weber,
Ma'am,
which activities?
Ma'am, what most of them combine these activities?
Which activities?
Ma'am, cutting of trees and mining, I think.
Mining?
No,
ma'am,
no.
Canada.
Weber, are you here in the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Then how come your answers are coming from far away? Like no relation, there's no relativity of this. Yes, there.
Ma'am, they mixed hunting and farming.
Yeah, they did all of it. They did hunting, gathering as well. They did farming as well. And they did herding too. They combined all these three activities, which are agriculture, hunting, gathering, and herding.
Ma'am,
Then
herding. Okay, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
herding means taking care of cattle, rearing cattle, right? Cattle as sheep and all. That is what you will read here that they did
Sheep
all
and
these.
cows.
Hanji,
Cows. Ma'am, cows doesn't come in cattle.
cow and cattle. They used to use like animals, cows as well, like less cows. Mostly they use goats and you can say sheep. Many types of,
Sheeps.
and that's a naked. They did not use cow only. They had cows as well, right? So they mixed or they combined these activities so that they can make full use of all the natural resources which they have, right? They can use all of them to get the best benefit out of it. Some tribes were nomadic. Nomadic means we have already discussed about it in detail.
Traveler.
Ma'am,
And the travel from
Traveler, right? Nowadays, you people have also seen on Instagram, people make their Instagram accounts nomadic traveler, nomad. Have you seen that?
Traveler.
ma'am, people who travels.
Yeah, people also put their usernames as well. The traveler of a nomad. This
on YouTube, ma'am, I don't use Instagram.
on YouTube, you might have seen, whether you can say YouTube or Instagram or any social site. Okay. So people use these words a lot, nomads. Okay, people who travel a lot, they call themselves nomads, right? So yes, there were some tribes which were, and one thing, yes, you have to make sure that not all the tribes are nomadic, right, children? Is it like that? Was all the tribes nomadic?
no,
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Yes.
No, ma'am.
All the tribes were not nomadic, right? Only few of them were nomadic and few of them used to stay at one place as well, like in their own forest only, right? Okay,
Ma'am?
children? Yes,
ma'am.
Hassan?
Yes, ma'am.
Like the people who, because of rain or excess of flood, they transferred to another place, that were not called nomads, na?
No. They are not nomads. They too have to, yeah. Children, yesterday I saw something wonderful. I wish I could have showed you that. There's a place where a volcano has been erupted, right? I think it is somewhere.
Ma'am, that is a nice thing.
I'll tell you what nice I just saw.
They threw the garbage in it.
I wanted to show you how clear they have shown. There is an activist. He has shown very clearly like what disaster has been caused because of the eruption of that volcano. The like entire area where there used to be trees and forests has
Ma'am, it was in Indonesia.
Indonesia, right? it has turned all black. The people have been shifted, the people have to be relocated, and you will not imagine, like, it has been some time. Okay, it has been some time of eruption, but still, when people go to that area near of that where this damage has been caused, that area, they have shown the hole as well, right? What do we call that hole from which the volcano erupts?
Ma'am,
Crater.
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 Right, they showed that crater. It is such a nice, everything is like because visual, like live visualization it was. And near the crater there were on the way when the lava might have come out, okay, the lava had burned
Please
everything
show.
down. They were putting their foot on a log of wood, and it was just crushing as if, because it was all ash now, it all turned black, it was all ash now. And like this was the like I'm talking about the Brazilian people, of like they were also tribal people only. Those poor people have shifted, relocated, and they are living in now in tents. They don't even have the place to live in because nobody has even cared for the tribes to look for something. Because of that, that activist has started a initiative to collect funds and rebuild houses for them. Okay.
Ma'am, please
And
show.
the thing which I want to tell you, the damage was so much that even if they showed me some places, they showed some places where the lava was still bulging out. It was still burning. It was still smoking. That's the kind of disaster these things cause. And with Hassan, all the people who are being located because of these calamities, they are not tribes. No. They have been relocated because of some calamity. It's not what they do. It's not what they want to do. Got it?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to ask one more question.
Yes, Hassan.
Why is anything not mentioned about the language of the tribe?
Because there's not one language which they have. They have various languages, right? They used to communicate in their own language. So there's not a
And
particular
they could have
language.
mentioned
Different
the
tribes have
main
different sort of languages. That is why nothing specific has been mentioned here. Okay.
Ma'am, I saw one video. Ma'am, I don't know where the tribals or what, but they never talk. They whistle in different ways to communicate.
Right. That is what I was trying to tell you. They have different ways of communication. That is why there is no mention of it. Okay. Yeah.
Ma'am, can you share the
Yes,
video?
ma'am.
Which video?
Ma'am,
That
this
volcano.
The volcanic. I'll try
And
to
the
see.
volcano,
It was an Instagram
the
story.
volcanic eruption was on 9 January 2022.
Yeah, it's something like that only. I do not
And it
remember.
was near, it was in Japan, Sakura Mija, I think
That's
so,
not
that
that
place.
one. I'm talking about the other one. I'll try to like screen record of it and I'll share it with you people. Okay, if it is still there. Okay. Yeah. Right. So children,
Yeah.
some tribes are nomadic and they move from place to place. Similarly, the nomadic pastoralists. What's the difference between nomadic tribes and nomadic pastoralists, children?
Ma'am, nomadic tribe moves from
What
one
is
place
this
to
Natic farmer bowl bay? What is it? Natic? Because this chat
Ma'am, I
box
think
is official. It's
he
not
was,
a chat box.
ma'am, I think he was trying to chat with
But you should
someone.
not do that, right? It is official. The difference between
Yes.
Hanji, we were talking about the difference between nomadic pastoralists and nomads.
Ma'am, nomads were nomads, I think so, transported the grains, ghee, milk, from one place to another, and ma'am, nomadic pastoralists, herd and herd the animal. Ma'am, sorry, ma'am, nomadic pastoralist, I think so, ma'am, they herd the animal from one place to another.
The second point was right, but the first point was not like that. The only difference between nomads and nomadic pastoralists is that nomads travel without their herds of animals and nomadic pastoralists travel with their herds of animals with the motive of providing them fresh pastures as well, right? That's a major point
Yes,
of
ma'am.
difference between nomadic tribes and nomadic pastoralists, right? Okay.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
nomadic pastoralists moved from one place to another with their animals, and both of these people exchanged wool, ghee, milk, etc. with the settled agriculturists to get grain, cloth, utensils, and other products whichever they need, right? And what did they use to? All the products they did not use to consume by themselves. They purchased few products, such as they purchased few utensils and few fabrics, And later on, they used to just sell them in different places, right? Okay,
Yes,
they
ma'am.
should sell these.
Ma'am, the
Mm.
goods, ma'am, the goods which are there in one region, they used to transport in another region and do the business.
Exactly, that's how they used to trade. This is what their trade was. Okay, children, and you will also see that like this way of doing business or doing trade or their livelihood strategies, like they are saying, don't you find it very sustainable for the environment? Is it, Pranavi?
I don't think so.
You don't think?
Madam.
Do you know the meaning of sustainable environment? Sustainable environment or sustainable? What is the meaning of sustainable?
A bit of
Wow.
काम चलाओ.
What? No, not that. That's
Okay, ma'am, so
completely wrong.
sustainable.
I'm asking you the
Able
meaning of
to-
sustainable.
To maintain something.
Yes, to maintain. Very good, Ria. Sustainable means to
To
maintain something.
satisfy something.
No, to satisfy majorly. See, Abhi, you'll come to the senior classes, then you're gonna read about a term which is gonna be very, very, very important for you, right? That term will be sustainable development.
Okay, ma'am.
Got it? Have you heard of it?
Yes, ma'am. In my sister's book, it's the chapter.
It's sister.
Ma'am, development.
Yes, sustainable development. Sisters in which class?
I'm 10th.
Very good. That's what I was trying to tell you. So there, yes, we are going to read about this topic. Right, children? Sustainable development is a development which is done in such a manner because of which we are not hampering the current environment. Right? Right now, what do you think that whatsoever development have happened till now in the country or in the world, was it sustainable? Was it
Yes.
sustainable?
Yes.
No, it was not sustainable. We kept on developing nations, we kept on developing, we kept on building new industries, new things, and we forgot to take care of the earth, right? Because of
Ma'am,
which
but it's sustainable for us.
it's not better, you will not be able to survive if there will not be any earth, if there will not be any trees.
How will you survive if there is
Exactly.
no oxygen present?
Right?
And that's
Yesterday
why,
I taught my
and
children.
that's why we are going to Mars.
What, Weber?
And that's why we are going to Mars.
Exactly. We are not going to Mars as of now. And if you have the capability of destroying one such beautiful planet, you have the capability of destroying the other as well. So instead of thinking of going to Mars, first we should try to protect the one which we have, right? The Earth. Okay.
I don't know why, but actually there are many people who, whenever we say like this, they have now there are plannings to go Mars and here and there. Why don't you take care of us?
Exactly. How can you say like if we are
Ma'am, but why to protect if we have alternate plan?
better, which alternate plans you
Ma'am,
have?
But it's not that perfect as this is.
And it's not easy.
it is alternate.
No, that alternate is not yet available. We do not know even if it will be available. For how many of us will it be available?
Ma'am, to know the universe, ma'am, to know the universe more, we need to be interplanetary humans.
But then everybody will not be able to do it, right? No? Sustainable development,
Yes.
like we have been like if Prakhar was telling, no, I think Prakhar's sister's class, like Prakhar's sister is in class 10, right, Prakhar?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So in that book, they have told us very clearly that we have not inherited this earth from our forefathers. ये हमें ना inherit नहीं किया है हमने. We have borrowed it from our future generations, right? So whenever we are utilizing the resources, we must think if we have borrowed something from someone, we must return them as it is, right? Did you get the concept?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Got it?
ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
We have borrowed it in such a good shape and health. We got earth. When we got earth, our ancestors provided it to us very nicely. But what did we do with that? We just extorted it, destroyed it to the best of its extent. Right? And what will the
Ma'am, but
future will be having?
sometime we will
already
return
know.
them.
We have come
Ma'am,
in
after
a place where diesel petrol is almost about to end very soon. Our country just faced a coal crisis, right? Yes, Weber?
Now, after some time, we will return their debt and
How?
with interest.
How will you return that?
Ma'am,
With
interest will
interest.
be more, so we will improve our earth.
How will you improve the earth? Do you? That is what they have. Right? It's very good thing if you are thinking of it. But that's what the people try to convey, that the resources which we have, the minerals which we have, they cannot be repaired within a couple of years, not even in hundreds of years. They take millions of years to be formed, right? Isn't it? They
Yes,
take
ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
years
ma'am.
ma'am.
to be formed. So that is why we should work at the conservation first, right?
Ma'am,
And the
we should.
alternatives which we should be focusing on using such be the alternatives such as using solar energy, wind energy, not going on to a different planet. This should not be our motive. Got it?
Ma'am, we should
Yes, ma'am.
go now only to Mars, and after some time, our Earth will be like the previous Earth, and then we will come
Don't
back
you
to
remember
Earth.
I have told you that
When
the
we will
earth,
come back, it will be again like that
the
only.
earth realized that the people are not at all worrying about her. That's why in 2020, the earth found a way of healing itself by herself. She locked it, it locked you all in your houses, and the earth got repaired. The ozone hole got right, the hole in the ozone layer got repaired by itself, the atmosphere become clear, right? And the earth heals up to some extent, right, children? So you need to be very careful about using the resources because everything has a way, right? If you not take care of Earth, Earth will find a way to take care of herself. And then maybe you need to suffer. Like the way we suffered in 2021, 2020, and see 2022 is right in front of us. We are back to online. Got it? So we must learn to conserve what we have, right? Value what we have. Got it, children? So
Okay, ma'am.
this sustainable development, the concept of sustainable development has been put up in an international summit, and we'll read about this in the senior classes. I hope in class 9 and 10. It is there in the topic, right? So yes, the way the tribals used to live earlier was quite sustainable. The way in which we live is not sustainable, right? Okay, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it all
Okay,
clear?
Ma'am,
ma'am.
they didn't use phones because they were not having.
That's
If they
different
would be having,
because it was
ma'am,
not
if they,
then.
ma'am, if they would be having, then they will also also be using, and they were not then.
That's not
You,
what the main thing is here, right? Now we're going to talk about one of the tribes of that time, one of such tribes which we have talked about. So one of such tribal group was that of the
Ma'am,
Banjaras,
Banjaras.
right?
Banjaras,
A very famous group. They were the
Banjaras.
most important trader nomads, right? They used to move from one place to another for their trade. So they were one of the most important trader nomads during the medieval period, right? Their caravan was called Tanda, right? The caravan, you know what's the caravan?
No, ma'am.
The caravan
Yes,
basically
ma'am.
the
Ma'am,
thing.
I think group.
No.
Yes,
Group.
ma'am.
I mean, deserts people move.
Yeah, the caravan basically refers to their means of transport. It is a way with the thing with which they
Ma'am,
transport.
like camel.
Like camels, you can say. Just a minute, I'll show you the caravans.
Ma'am, desert tent.
Huh?
They will move in a tent in desert.
Yeah.
Ma'am, the
That's what I'm
Banjaras
saying.
are
In very
created from.
simple language, we call it house on wheels, right? If you want to talk about in a very simple language, caravan was known as
House on
house on
wheels.
wheels, right? It is a very common thing for the nomads to
Portable house.
Hanji,
Portable house.
portable house, right? Okay.
Sleeping bags. Ultimately, a
Like
portable
here,
house.
they have not given a clear picture. Tanga is basically what we call tanga as, right?
Oh, that.
This is a good example of it, right? This one. Can you see this one, children? They
Yes,
used to be
ma'am.
enclosed
Yes, ma'am.
and they used to travel
Yes,
with the
ma'am.
tangas very easily. These are the kinds of tangas they have, right? In the
Ma'am, but if they
Ma'am,
are going for business, so why they need to take their families with
because
them?
that is what their culture is, no? That is what they were like. They used to do business
transfer.
Anji?
Transfer.
I'm like in these days it is transfer at that time also.
Yeah, and if they
They
have to
transfer themselves on
transport
that time.
for the only
Means they
reason.
permanently lived in their vehicles only.
Yeah, the nomads mostly live in the vehicles only.
Ma'am,
And if they have to
ma'am, the
transport grains or
Banjaras,
products, then they usually use these kind of tangas, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear?
the
Ma'am,
Banjaras
these type
originated
of
from
vehicles
Rajasthan.
are used now also.
See, these are the gypsy caravans, as you can see. This one, can you see?
No,
Gypsies were also kind of a tribe,
ma'am.
right? This used to be
Yes,
their house.
yes, ma'am.
This one,
Mm.
can you see it?
Ma'am, it is in Sholay picture.
Okay.
And Chota Bhim also.
You people know how easy people are.
Legendary,
Old
legendary,
memories.
legendary.
You people are still dwelling in them. Okay,
Here,
right? So
don't praise yourself too much.
yes, now let's come to Banjaras back again. You remember this, the name of this king, Alauddin Khilji?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Alauddin Khilji's market regulation system could become successful majorly because he relied heavily on the Banjaras. Relied means children?
Ma'am,
I'm
Nirbhar.
dependent.
Dependent. He was very much dependent on the Banjaras. What for? He was dependent on them to transport grain to the city markets, and they also transported grain to the Mughal army during their military campaigns. Whenever they are out in a battle or somewhat, then also the Banjaras used to transport the grains to them. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Now,
Yes,
the next of such tribe was the tribe of the Gonds.
Gonds.
Again, it was a very powerful, no, trader group, Gonds as well. Okay, children. So the Gonds was the
Yes.
was one of the most important tribal groups in central India during the medieval period. Okay, and the area under the Gonds, right, was basically Jabalpur and Bhopal. What was the area under them, children?
Jabalpur
and
It was it only, no? Right? Yes. Their control was between Jabalpur and Bhopal. And one of their very most important queen was Rani Durgavati. Have you heard her name ever?
no,
Yes, ma'am.
No,
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am, I have heard, it, but I
I'm
don't
heard
remember.
it, but not.
Do you remember the context in which you have heard it?
Ma'am, I have heard in a movie.
Maybe television, something there.
Although she was a very, very efficient queen and very queen who showed very showed different kind of valor and courage in the medieval era, where that is something very unusual for queens to show. Okay, children. So she did it back then, because of which she became she came to be very because of it only till now, till this day, even today, people talk about her in their legends. What do you mean by these legends, children?
Ma'am, those who have done great work for the society and community.
Huh?
Ma'am,
Some
those who have done great
records.
for the society and
The
community.
records, right? The songs, the stories which they have of these people, and they still celebrate in the Gone legends for her courage and valor. We all know the meaning of courage, children. What's the meaning of valor?
Ma'am, respect.
Valor. What does valor mean? Yes, kids, tell me the meaning of valor.
Courage.
I'm great courage in the
Well,
face of
yeah.
danger.
You can write.
It is already courage and valor. So they
Valor
are
means
different.
bravery.
I'm in
Ma'am,
battle.
those who do not have fear.
Hanji?
Ma'am, those who do not have fear.
Yeah, brave. She was very courageous and brave, right? Because of which she's still praised in the gods, right? Rani Durgavati ruled the region during the 16th century on behalf of her 5-year-old son. Now you must be having a question that how come a 5-year-old child can become a king? Can you tell me how is it possible?
Ma'am, earlier Raja ka beta Raja hi banega.
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
Earlier, there was this thing, it was a hereditary thingy that only the son of the king will become.
The king must have died early.
Yes, exactly this happened, right? she had to rule on the behalf of her son because of the death of her husband. Her husband died early when her son was only 5 years old. So instead of giving this right to somebody else to rule on the behalf of her son, she did it herself. She ruled by herself. And again, when Akbar got to know of this, Akbar and his army felt that okay, she's a queen, she might be weak, okay, and we can easily get success over her. We can easily
They
win
were
over her.
wrong,
Yes, Hassan.
but they were wrong, I guess.
Yes, they were like it was not easy for them to win with her because she Punita, sit straight, right? Okay, she just refused to bow before them. She was like, I'm not gonna bend in front of you. If you wanna win this
And
thing,
so
you
she
wanna win
died.
this region, you have to fight. Okay.
And so she died
Yeah, she died
in that
unfortunately.
war.
And that also you will know, like she died with her own charm. As you'll see that she refused to bow before Akbar and she fought with the huge Mughal forces, right? And in the war, right, during the battle, when she got wounded, she preferred to stab herself to death rather than to be captured and dishonored by the Mughal army. Can you relate it with something else? ऐसा हमने कहीं और भी देखा है children? Have you seen this somewhere before?
I'm in the movie
Ma'am,
Padmavat.
I'm in the movie Padmavat.
And it's not only a movie, it's truth as well, right? It has actually happened there. in
Yes,
Padmavat.
ma'am.
Ma'am, what's Padmavat?
Riya Padmavati was a queen of Rajputana kingdom, right? And they have made a movie on that, which is known as Padmavat, right? If you get time, you must watch it. Very nice it is. They have made a movie on
Okay.
that, and there they have shown there was a king known Alauddin Khilji, about whom we have just talked, right? He was fond of that queen. Like the queen was very beautiful, and that man went all crazy about her. He just wanted to win her over at anything, right? When he defeated the Rajputana kingdom, he defeated them in battle, he almost won. And when the queen got to know this, instead of going with him, instead of facing this dishonor, what did she do? She burnt herself alive along with the remaining women of that kingdom. Because they knew if they would have been captured, they would have been raped, they would have been treated brutally. So instead of going for that, they burned themselves alive. That was also a story of great courage and valor. And the same thing Padma, like Queen or the Rani Durgavati has done here. She stabbed herself, उन्होंने खुद को ही मार दिया, right? Instead of being captured with the Mughals, right, children?
Okay,
Okay,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank
Don't
you, ma'am.
believe what we have just said, that she was actually courageous and had valor?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
right. So the Gondwana region later came under the army, right, under the control of Marathas, right? पहले तो उन्हें मुगल आर्मी के पास ही गया होगा, but later on it came under the control of Marathas. In the coming chapters, we'll read about Marathas in detail as well. And in 1817, finally, it was brought under the British command. Got it? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Children, I hope you have understood it here properly.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Any doubts?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Sure.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
If yes, then we'll begin with the Ahoms now. Shall we begin?
Yes, ma'am, you
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, children. Now we have to begin with the Ahom kingdom, right? Punita, can you please tell us something about them?
Okay, the Ahoms established the Ahom kingdom c 1 to 1228 to 1826 in parts of present day Assam and ruled present day Assam and ruled it for nearly 600 years. Historical documents do not call the kingdom Ahom, they call it Assam or Assam, and the subjects of the kingdom, Assamese or Assamia, the region in ancient historic literatures, is referred to as Kamarrupa. During the early 13th century, Sukhapa, a Sham Mao tribe from China prince, began his journey with about 9,000 followers, with reached the Brahmaputra Valley in 1220.
Thank you so much.
The Ahom
Stop here. Right, children. So here we first of all we read that the Ahom established the Ahom kingdom in 1228 and they ruled till 1826. Children, 600 years. Can you see the power?
A lot.
600 years is a very long time. Do you know for how long British have ruled over us? You know that?
Ma'am, 200 years.
200
200 years.
years.
190 years.
200. What? How many years?
Ma'am, 190.
Ma'am, 190.
190 or approximately we can call it
Ma'am,
200.
approximate.
Right. But let's see at these people. These people, the Ahoms, they have ruled over the kingdom for around how many years? For around
600.
600 years. 600.
Ma'am, more than Mughals.
More than the Mughals, right? But they ruled over that area only. Like they haven't done much expansion in the area. Okay, that
Ma'am,
Yeah.
northeast.
They were happy in their region.
yeah,
Ma'am,
maybe
were the Oghuz defeated by Mongols?
what Weber?
Ma'am, were the Ohms defeated by Mongols?
Yes, we will come to that as well, right? So what happened is that they established a kingdom in this part, present-day Assam, and ruled it for 600 years. And I'm again telling you so that you can realize how important and how strong this tribe was. And the historical documents which we have got about this tribe, there we got to know that they did not call their kingdom a home kingdom. They always called it Assam or Assam. Maybe that is why it
Assam.
has got its name, right? Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes,
So,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, and the people, the subjects of this kingdom. What is the meaning of subjects here?
Ma'am,
Ma'am, writing.
Niva-
Ma'am, the successors.
No, Prakhar, even you do not know.
Native.
Vaibhav, you tell me. You must have read about it. You tell me what is the meaning of subjects.
Ma'am, which subject?
Here they are mentioned now in the subjects of this kingdom. What's the meaning of subject here? Are they talking about anything?
Ma'am, the rulers,
Ma'am, like
the
students.
people of the-
important people,
Hanji, what? What, Riya?
important people.
No.
language.
I've just heard. I've heard it 100 times maybe.
Language.
100 times, and I think I have only told you about this.
Ma'am, Praja.
Yes.
Right, Riya?
Yes,
Subjects
ma'am.
refer to the people
I
of the
also heard it
kingdom.
many times.
What are
Ma'am, I
the
just said
subjects?
people. Ma'am, I have said people earlier.
Now you people don't say anything. When I asked you, you were not able to tell.
I'm
Ma'am,
native.
I said it that it refers to people
Okay then.
of that kingdom.
Right?
I'm native.
So yes, subject means people of the kingdom. What does it mean, children?
Natives.
People of the
Right? We
kingdom.
are lucky enough, children. We are lucky enough that we have taken birth into a democracy. Right? Now our country is not a monarchy, not a dictatorship. If we would have Punita, what's this, Punita? Sit properly. Yes. So if we would have been right now, if we would have been living under a king or a monarch, then we would have also been the subjects of the king. Got it? Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Monarchy is not
Yes, ma'am.
always bad.
Ma'am, so he would be reading us.
He would be ruling you, beta. He would be not reading you. He would be ruling you. Right? So that's what the meaning of
But
subject here. The subject refers to the
monarchy is
people
not
of the
always true.
Okay, children. Right, so the
Okay, ma'am.
subjects were known as Assamese or Assamia, which we call them today as well. And the region in ancient historic literature is referred to as Kamaruna, right? And during the early 13th century, Sukhapa was a Shan, like Sukhapa Shan, who was a Mongmao tribe from China. This prince, Sukhapa, began his journey from there, and he came here with his 9,000 followers and reached the Brahmaputra Valley in 1228, and then he established this Ahom kingdom or the Assam kingdom. Got it?
Okay,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
We'll
Got
keep
it.
it till here only because the meeting is about to end. I hope you have understood this much, children.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Right?
Ma'am.
Only a little bit
Understood.
topic is left for tomorrow. We'll
Yes,
finish
ma'am.
that. And this time, the answers I want from you people. I'll not tell you even the page number and anything.
Okay, ma'am.
You will write the answers by yourself. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, then I hope it's all clear to you. Please read it as well, otherwise nothing will be clear. Okay?
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Please read it at once by yourself. In case there is any